Hi, Facebook Live. This is meteorologist Mallory Schnell with WHAS 11. Just waiting another minute or two to have a few more viewers on this stream. We're also pushing this out to our WHAS 11 Plus app, and that takes a minute or two to kind of get started. So we will talk about, of course, the snow that we're seeing this morning, the bigger snow that's expected tonight. We'll talk timing, we'll talk potential totals, impacts, and also we'll talk when this is all going to melt. That's coming up once we have a few more viewers on here. So give it just about another minute or so and we can get started. Hi, Facebook Live. Just wanted to pop myself up here. Still waiting another moment or so for us to go live on our 11 Plus app. But my name is meteorologist Mallory Schnell here. I am a meteorologist at WHAS 11 in Louisville, Kentucky. We have some snow falling this morning. We have more on the way this evening and tonight, and potentially a third light round possible Wednesday evening. So we'll kind of talk through the timing of that, the impacts, the expected totals here at home, and also when this will start to melt, because we do have warmer days in the 7-day forecast. So it does look like we are streaming on our 11 Plus app, so we can go ahead and get started with a live look outside here. So this is a check of some of our Trimark cameras. You can see I-71 at Blankenbaker, I-65 at Arthur Street, 64 at Cannons Lane, and Watterson at Taylorsville Road there. This is all around the Louisville metro area. It does look like the crews have been out on the roads this morning, because when I tell you we had a dusting of snow early this morning in Louisville around 2 or 3 a.m. and that's about the time I go into work. We had that dusting for the neighborhood roads. The interstates were still coated at that time, but the road crews have been out and about. They have treated the roads, so you can see we're just dealing with wet roads primarily on those interstates at this time. That's even as snow continues to fall here. And thankfully, because of that, no big accidents here on our mobile traffic tracker, but we do have some slowdowns. That's what you're seeing in the oranges and reds, especially around the Gene Snyder area, around PRP Valley Station as well. So there may be some slick spots out there. That has certainly been the case throughout the morning, but no major accidents. Of course, at this point, we're past that morning commute and before lunch as well. Now, we do have some road closures down by the river. That's still due to the flooding. We're still dealing with the aftermath of the flooding that we had over the weekend, of course, and areas like the Ohio River. It takes some time for those rivers to crest. The smaller rivers are starting to crest, and they will continue to recede throughout the week. But the bigger rivers like the Ohio, not looking to crest until about Thursday. So if you're from Louisville, you know we have those problem areas, like if you're getting off 64 at River Road and 3rd Street, you can't take a right there. Around the Belle of Louisville, that is flooded. Does look like we also have a road closure due to mud. I'm assuming some of that is flood related, of course, on Frankfort Avenue, both directions between River Road and Melwood. So these are the active flood warnings, basically just showing that, yes, we are still tracking river flooding across the state. Smaller rivers are beginning to recede. So a lot of those have crested already, but the Ohio takes a little bit longer. Of course, there's a lot more tributaries that flow into it. So we're looking at some cresting by Thursday here at home. Now let's get to the winter weather, because I'm sure that's why you're on this stream here. We do have winter alerts in place. A winter weather advisory in the purple. Some of that has been ongoing this morning due to this first wave of snow. Now, this was on the fence because we're not dealing with high snow totals this morning, less than an inch across the area, but you're getting some of those snow bursts. And temperatures are very cold, so that snow is sticking. And then we do have another round tonight, and that's where we're expecting the heavier amounts, especially in that deep purple or deep blue color. That's where a winter storm warning is in place. You can tell that is just south of Louisville. So Louisville will kind of be on the borderline, it looks like. But we went ahead and made today and tomorrow all day weather impact alerts just because we have these 3 rounds of snow. You can still get out and about, but we have this round 1 that's moving through this morning. That's light snow. We have round 2 that's moving through tonight. That's heavier snow. And round 3 moves through Wednesday evening. That's going to be another round of light snow. So likely round 1s and 3, those are looking to be less than an inch. Round 2, that could be anywhere between about 2 to 5 or so inches, depending on where you live. And we'll get to that. But visibility right now, even with this first round, once again, it's making impacts. If you are traveling, you can see visibility less than a mile in areas like Louisville, Fort Knox, down to a mile in Frankfort, 2.5 miles in Bardstown, 2.5 in Huntingburg, French Lick, 1 mile in Evansville as well. So this gives you kind of an idea of where that snow is falling, because even though it's light and fine, it's blowing around and it is causing some visibility issues. So here's Max HD radar, some of that snow falling apart a bit in the Louisville metro, but still flying around out there. As we zoom out, you can see it's slowly pushing from north to south. So this is our first band of snowfall this morning. And then our second band arrives later on this evening and into tonight. Can everybody hear me okay? I just got a comment that said no sound. Okay, just making sure. So this is round 1 out of 3, as I mentioned, and this will be a fairly light round, but the timing made for some impacts this morning during that commute. Big picture view. Here's that storm system off to our west. You can see it's been dumping snow throughout the plains, and it will slowly head our direction throughout the rest of the day. But you can kind of tell where there's a break here. And models did a pretty good, oh, that's a front. Sorry, wrong tool. There's a break here between the round that we're seeing this morning and the round that's to come. So models did a pretty good job at showing this, the weather model data, where we're getting kind of that first clip of energy this morning, just enough to have a dusting in some spots, have a 1/2 inch to maybe up to an inch with any heavier bands, and then the greater accumulations do arrive this evening through tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Current temperatures across Kentuckiana, they are cold. These are actual air temperatures, not wind chills. So you can see we are in the teens and 20s, and that's part of the reason that the snow is so fine. It's a different kind of snowfall than what we had, say, Sunday morning. That was a very wet snow when we went from rain to snow and it was 33 degrees outside. We are much colder. The snow overnight, especially in your headlights, looks kind of crystally, shiny, sparkly, I guess you could say. And it's a higher snow ratio, meaning you don't need as much moisture to create more snow and fluffier snow. But this is that kind of snow that's easy to brush off your car. Usually, sometimes you can use a leaf blower if there's not too much to blow off your driveway. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. But temperatures, you can see here, very cold across the regions. Once again, these are actual air temperatures, not wind chills, below 0 in portions of Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, and that cold air is continuing to pool our direction here. So let's take you through the future cast, hour by hour as we head throughout the rest of the day. Once again, this is round 1. This is passing through here, should continue to fizzle out, I would say within the next 2 hours. So maybe by about 1 p.m., that's off to our east. We get some break time this afternoon, evening, allow the road crews to get back out there, prepare for the incoming system. And then starting about 5 or 6, we start to see that snow inch up from the west and southwest. But if we're talking about most of us seeing snow, that's going to take some time after sunset, likely between about 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. That looks to be the good time frame. So hopefully this is one of those snows where you're in for the night, You go to bed, you wake up, it's out before you have to head into work if you do have to head into work tomorrow, because that does move out from west to east pretty early tomorrow. But as I mentioned, Mother Nature's not helping us out with clearing this kind of snow. We've had a lot of snows where we've been on the borderline of 32 degrees, so that's really helped melt some of it because the road temperatures have been warmer. But we're talking temperatures in the teens and 20s. So whether you get 2 inches of snow, 6 inches of snow, expect some travel impacts here. And then here's that quick hit of light wraparound snow tomorrow evening. That could drop maybe another inch. So this is how a lot of the snow models are looking this morning in terms of snowfall potential. You will notice heavier amounts to the south, lighter amounts to the north. And you may also notice that Louisville is starting to get a little close to the edge here. This could be a situation where, I mean, it tends to happen more often than not, where we have a range of snowfall totals even just within Louisville. But the deep blues, that's 4 to 6. The purples, which I wouldn't take too much, I wouldn't look too much into exactly the placement of the purples, but the purples would be isolated amounts above 6 inches. And then the light blues are less than 2 inches. So that's more Bedford, Seymour. I think we'll have some dry air cutting into the north side of this. Louisville, if I had to bet, I would say we'll get 3 to 4 inches. Many spots closer to 4 inches. This is after all is said and done. So as I mentioned, we have 3 rounds of snow here. We're getting less than an inch this morning, probably 2 to 3 inches tonight, and then less than an inch tomorrow evening. Higher amounts certainly to the south of Louisville especially, the parkways. You all could get a nice 6-inch snow there, E-Town, Litchfield, Bardstown, Campbellsville, kind of right in that banding there. But I would say a lot of the models look similar with the contours here. The question is, could it go maybe an inch higher in some spots? So rather than 2 to 4, could that be 3 to 5? But we'll kind of have to see how this develops, if it sticks around longer, if it produces, if the snow ratios are slightly higher. There's a lot that snow is very finicky. I'll just tell you that. Definitely the hardest thing to forecast. Behind that snow, we just stay cold, so it's not really looking to melt until we head into this weekend. We will struggle to hit that 32-degree mark until Saturday, because fresh snowpack tends to keep you colder anyway, but we have that Arctic air that's pooling in. So we're talking highs in the 20s the next couple of days. We'll be around 30 degrees on Friday, and we should have more sunshine. Overnight lows in the teens and single digits. And then this weekend, 38 Saturday, 44 Sunday, 50 on Monday. And if you're not a fan of this winter weather, it does look like we will have more 40s and 50s next week. And I just want to put this out there. If you feel like it's been a snowy winter, it has. Louisville, at least at the airport, that's where our official totals are. We have picked up 19.1 inches of snowfall. That's since December 1st. If we take into account the November snow we had, I think it's like 19.7. But December 1st is the start of meteorological winter. The average is 9.4. So we have more than doubled that so far this season. Last year we had 4.6. So we have more than quadrupled what we had last year. I picked a good time to move back home, I guess. 19.1 inches of snow so far. So once again, we can start off again taking a live look outside here. Snowflakes, they're still falling, but roads are looking pretty good, especially the interstates. Maybe some of your neighborhoods have a nice coating of snowfall. Your cars might have some snow on them as well. I'm going to look up a different graphic. This is just to make you all feel better about the melting and the warming trend next week. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, trending slightly, ever so slightly above average for us. So that could mean more 50s because our average for this time of year is right around 49 degrees. So still snowing in Borden. Thanks, Beverly. Hello, hello. Thank you all for hopping on here. I'm just going to pop my face back up here for a moment. Hi, everybody. I'm Mallory Schnell. I'm a meteorologist at WHAS 11. here in Louisville, Kentucky. If you're streaming from somewhere else, we're talking about the snow in southern Indiana and Kentucky here. And if you're more into watching things on the TV side, we do have a newscast coming up at noon, between noon and 1 p.m. And of course, I'll be going over all of this once again. I will hit a few of these graphics in case you did hop on late, and then kind of wrap things up here so I can get ready for the noon show. But let's take a live look outside. This one is actually showing the flooding and the snow that we're dealing with. This is our downtown Louisville camera zoomed in. You can see past the 2nd Street Bridge, past Joe's Crab Shack there, and how those water levels are continuing to rise along River Road, Waterfront Park as well. So that's something that we will continue to see throughout this week. And if you're from here, you know those same areas that tend to flood when we do have an active winter, active spring, and that's exactly what we're seeing out there right now. All right, let's cut to our graphics once again. That's to get you through this snow here. Long range temperatures looking a little better. So here's our active winter alerts, and basically showing the dividing line between the heavier snow and the maybe not so heavy snow. Louisville, we are right on the edge, my friends. So I do think we could be close to 3 to 4 inches at the end of this with how things are looking at this time. So model is getting a little bit more aggressive with a little bit more moisture. And as I mentioned, this is a high snow ratio snow. So what that means is basically you don't need as much moisture to make more snowfall. Whereas when you have a wet snow, it takes more moisture to make more snowfall. But this kind of snow is very light, it's very fluffy, it fluffs up very easily. And this graphic, I realize the background doesn't work on this particular system, but this shows you the idea of the 3 rounds of snow that we have. The first one this morning, the second one Tuesday night, the third one Wednesday evening. And if you're talking about the greatest accumulations, that will be tonight. Basically this evening through early tomorrow morning. So hopefully it's while a lot of you all are out sleeping. For me, it's when I'm coming into work, but we'll figure that out. Let's take a look at our Max HD radar right now. Yes, it is snowing for many of us. We've been tracking some snow. Looked like a snow globe here in Louisville for a bit. We're starting to see more dry air infiltrate this, so this should wind down, I'd say, over the next hour or two, and then we'll get a break this afternoon. Beyond that, we're watching for kind of the main event here. So this is our little preview. Quiet through about dinner time. After sunset, that snow moves in from the southwest. It's ongoing, especially between about 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. You can see the temperatures here. Pay attention to that. Temperatures are in the teens overnight. So that is cold air. All that snow is sticking. Treatments don't work as well on the roads when it's this cold, but they'll still work. I know the road crews have additives they can put in there to make sure it works with colder temperatures. And then you can see once we get the whites in here, that's when it's starting to move out. So I do think the reason why this particular model is just a little bit more moisture is because it lingers just an extra hour or so. And then by about mid-morning, it's out of here. Road crews can get to work. But then we do have just another little blip. Let's see the timing of this. 6 to 10 p.m. tomorrow. So main event is between about 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. tonight. We're seeing that first round this morning, second round tomorrow evening. And the very important snow potential map here, filling in. Less than 2 off to the north in that light blue color, 2 to 4 kind of in southern Indiana and portions of Louisville, and then 4 to 6 maybe South Jefferson County down to the parkways. And somewhere around the Bluegrass Parkway, or the Cumberland Parkway, excuse me, we could see more of those totals, isolated totals of 6+ inches. So this could be a fluffy half-foot snow for some. South of Louisville, it looks like. And then beyond that, we're just talking very cold temperatures, friends. We're going to stay below freezing all throughout the work week. Friday, we will have more sunshine. 30 degrees looking to be our best bet for now because we'll have still some of that fresh snowpack. Friday morning will be very cold in the single digits for many of us. And then beyond that, we thaw out. So a bit better this weekend. And then next week, we're back up to 50 degrees. All right. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to get ready for our noon newscast, which you can stream on our app. You can watch the playback there as well. You can also watch my forecast on YouTube, but tune in from noon to 1 p.m. as we continue to track the radar and the snow potential that we do have here in Louisville, parts of Kentucky, southern Indiana as well. And I hope you stay safe, stay warm, and hopefully once we get past this winter system, we can really start to warm things up as we get closer to spring. Have a good one.